Hello everyone. Today I'll be dealing with the summary of the poem Dover Beach along with a few points related to its critical analysis or critical appreciation. So first of all, I'll give you the summary of the poem Dover Beach. In the poem Dover Beach, Arnold describes the tranquil English Channel at Dover. It is a moonlit night. The moonlight is reflected on the water. The tide is full. The moonlight is also reflected on Calais, a place on the French coast. The poet asks his wife, Frances Lucy, to listen to the harsh sound of the waves alternately advancing and retreating and carrying away the pebbles from the sea beach and flinging them back to the beach. He wants his wife to notice how the pebbles move along with the waves of the sea. The process of advancing and retreating continues ceaselessly. In spite of the harsh sound, there is a rhythm in it. The poet finds in the rhythmic movement of the waves a note of sadness. He recalls that the famous Greek tragic playwright Sophocles also heard a note of sadness in the waves of the Aegean Sea, which symbolized for him the rise and fall in life. Arnold compares the sea with religion. Once the sea of religion was full. In other words, people all over the world had deep religious faith. But in the Victorian age, the sea of faith has run dry. People are skeptical. It is now leaving the world barren and dry. With the decline of religious faith, men are getting more and more materialistic. When the waves of the sea recede, the coast looks naked, dry, and cheerless, and the pebbles sprawl on the shore hideously. Similarly, when the sea of religious faith recedes, the pebbles of skepticism are left. In such an uncongenial atmosphere of disbelief and incertitude, Arnold says that the only thing that endures is love. Love is the only source of solace in life. The world before them looks like a lovely dream on a moonlit night. It is, however, an enchanting illusion. It has no certitude or peace or joy. The world is a darkling plain. In this world, men are fighting in the dark, completely ignorant whom they are fighting against and what exactly they are fighting for. With this, I complete the summary of the poem. Now, I'll give you some points on critical appreciation of the poem. The poem Dover Beach is essentially lyrical. Even the philosophical tone has not prevented it from being lyrical and subjective. It is a short poem, but it embraces a great range and depth of significance. As elsewhere, Arnold discloses his melancholy preoccupation with the thought of the inevitable decline of religious faith, and he expresses the belief that a successful love relationship may be realized even in a world which is hostile. But he does not merely ruminate upon the ideas. He conveys them to us more by the moon-blanched landscape which he creates than by his direct statement of them. Dover Beach is a great poem as far as it is possible for a single short lyric to do so. It represents the main movement of mind of the last quarter of a century. And it is the one work by Arnold which ought to appear in even the briefest anthology of great English poems. Dover Beach is one of the greatest elegies of Arnold and strikes a note of sadness. It does not mourn the death of a person, but of religious faith. A feeling of melancholy pervades the whole poem. There is literary allusion in the poem There is use of simile, as I had already made you mark when I did the explanation of the poem. Then there is pictorial quality in the poem, as there is vivid use of nature imagery in the poem. The poem is rich in imagery and it deserves notice. We have in Dover Beach a series of images which delight as much the eye as the ear. The images relating to the eye are: the sea is calm, the moon shines fair, the light twinkles on the French coast, etc. The sound images include its melancholy long withdrawing roar. You hear the grating roar of pebbles, which the waves draw back and fling, and where ignorant armies clash by night. Arnold, in his vision of the tragic and alienated condition of man, shows his modernism. So we can say that Dover Beach is a strikingly modern poem. And here Arnold emerges more as a modern poet rather than a Victorian poet. Arnold is a poet of nature, undoubtedly. And in Dover Beach, nature is the background of Arnold's philosophical reflections. Dover Beach, despite its melancholy note, is a poem of love. Arnold, of course, does not grow ascetic in his songs of love. But here he does declare that amidst incertitude, blankness, and despair, love alone stands firm and is the only source of comfort. Dover Beach is a picture of married love, which is characteristic of Victorian tradition. The poet is a bit didactic and philosophical in the poem. That's all about the summary and critical appreciation of the poem Dover Beach. Thank you.